Championship. And competing for the $10,000 grand prize are Jim Putney of Holliston, who qualified with a 4:45. Gary Carrington of Glasgow, New Hampshire, who qualified with a 4:35. Steve Renaud of Southbridge, who qualified with a 4:33. Don Santiago of FALMOUTH, who qualified with a 4:25. And Paul Berger of Hopedale, who qualified with a 4:21. Everybody, welcome once again, and believe it or not, it is the 15th annual championship show, brought to you, of course, by True Value. We have one live show, as you know, and this is it, with $20,000 in prize money. The first one was back in 1976, Max Valentin defeating Al Gallant. But again, the prize money wasn't as big then. Right now, it's $20,000, and $10,000 of that goes to the winner. The runner-up will get $5,000. Third place finisher gets $2,500, and the runners-up of the first two matches will get $1,250. And to tell you more about how that works, here's my colleague who did a sensational job on the sports, if you were watching. He sure did, Mr. Ed Harding.
Thank you. Did. Well, thank you. It's kind of you, but I have to tell you, as we were sitting here preparing for the show, the thing that I was getting nervous about was, you know, Roger brings a 1-0 lead in the ninth inning, and can he bring it home? But the thing I'm entertained by tonight, obviously, is what's going to happen this team. Did you ever believe that this show would get to this level?
No, I really and truly didn't, because, you know, it's 32 years ago. I was on that program, yes. Really?
32 years
yeah.
ago?
Jim Britt was the original host, but they needed another guy to do what you're doing.
You're just
so
another guy, huh?
Yeah, right.
There's hope for me, right? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Just to elaborate on what Don told you, let me give you the bracket of what's going to happen tonight so you know who will be bowling against whom and what the results should be. If you get lucky enough, we'll show you the ladder. This is the way it looks. Paul Berger and Gary Carrington are the fellas that will end up doing the first round of bowling. Don Santiago, don't call me Jose Santiago, and Steve Renaud will do the second round of bowling, and the survivors, of course, will go against Jimmy Putney, and we'll see what happens. 90 minutes of fun, huh?
And how? And where is Dick O'Connell, who won this tournament year before last and the year before that, and was our commentator last year, and he's going to be here, too. Glad to be back, Ronnie. Glad to be back. A lot of folks here who know you, and they don't recognize you in the suit. Okay, we're going to get underway right after this.
Candlepin Bowling is sponsored in part by True Value Hardware, your store of first.
We are underway, and leading it off right now is Paul Berger. Paul was 5th seed, and he will be facing Gary Carrington, 2nd seed. And this, remember, is a 1-string roll-off. And Dick O'Connell, you know what the pressure is when you're rolling just 1 string.
Tremendous pressure when you're only bowling 1 string.
But I think it might be an advantage to bowl first, get up early and do it.
In a 1-string match like this, yeah, I'd like to get up first and try to put the pressure on the opponent myself.
All right, he has a 10.
Sometimes works the opposite.
Spare leave left side. The 4 horsemen, no wood to help. 1, 2, 4, and 7, and no! Just a wee bit too full on that head pin. So a pair of 10s for Paul. Paul qualified with a 4:21, and our 2nd seed, Gary Carrington, qualified with a 4:35. Gary Carrington was runner-up 2 years ago to the man sitting next to me, Dick O'Connell, in the final.
That was a tough match.
Gary Carrington is from Claystone, New Hampshire. Didn't have to come far here today, huh?
Boy, I guess not. Right up the street.
Right now it looks like both bowlers are pressuring just to get started.
Well, they're bowling in front of you, Dick, and that's pressure in and of itself.
I don't believe that.
Okay, 1 pin difference, 10-9. With Paul Berger in the lead after 1 box. And in a 1-string roll-off, it's box by box.
Gary has a tough shot here, but it's makeable. If he hits that wood in the left-hand end, he should carry the 5 and the 6.
If he didn't have the wood, it's almost impossible because they're side by side. But he's got it just the way you said it. So the first mark goes up on the board that belongs to Gary Carrington. Now Paul Berger up to roll for his 3rd. There you see it, just the way you called it, Dick. Paul Berger, 2 full on the head pin.
Paul's got to split those 2 and send it over.
Fired it a little too hard, I think. A 7 box.
Paul knows he can't leave too many openings for Gary.
Especially, as we said, in a 1-string roll-off. Oh, he wanted that 3-pin to topple.
That shot's not set up too bad at all. If he takes the pin on the right-hand side, it should carry both.
He got it. And Gary Carrington comes up. Remember, he's working on a spare.
It was a big box, I think, for Paul. He needed it after leaving the 7 on the other half. That was
he definitely had to get a mark then.
Here's the fill.
This is why Gary is so explosive.
I was just going to say a typical Gary Carrington fill on a mark.
He has a shot at marking again?
Yes.
Plowed it right out.
2 in a row. And remember, the bonus money is the same as it is on all of the other noontime shows. That is, 3 marks in a row. Any combination of strikes or spares in the same string will establish a bonus of $50. Each subsequent consecutive mark in the same string, $50 apiece, as long as he can keep it going. Once again, he gets a good fill and leaves a spare possibility.
Yeah, all he has to do is just split the 2 pins in. The 3rd one should carry automatic. Just missed that shot.
Sure did just miss it. Just inside the 2-pin, punching out the 4. And makes a 10. All right, we're going to take a check on the scoreboard, as we always do after 4 boxes in our strings, with the single exception of the last string. And right now, with a bonus ball still to be thrown by Paul Berger, it is Carrington 54 and Berger 37. Berger about to roll a bonus ball. Spare in the 4th. Looking for a big fill. Well, there's that tough diamond.
That's a very tough lead there.
How would you play that, Dick?
Yeah, you got to split the 2 on either side. Just hope you get the back one like that.
Like that.
Just like that.
He's rolled a couple of big boxes, I think. His last 2 have just been solid for him.
Yes, they have. Paul's always been a very solid bowler anyways.
He would like to have some wood to help here, but he has 2, 4, 7 and has to kick something over there to get the 10-pin. See if he can do it. Nope.
It's a tight match right now.
The corner pins are still standing, so it's an 8-box. Now Gary Carrington coming back up again.
If Gary gets a mark here, he can put an awful lot of pressure on Paul going into the final 4.
As you can see, the lead right now after 4 boxes is 11 for Carrington. Pin hit.
Excellent try. Gary wants to get at least a 9 out of this box.
And it appears that he will. He might even steal that 7-pin, huh?
Well, I think I'd just shoot the 2 and not gamble for the 3rd.
Now the lead down after 5 boxes to 4.
that 8-box Paul had, that last box, could come back to haunt them.
Oh, this is tough. 4 and 5 side by side, and then back of that, 7 and 8. But he does have that piece of wood that's just slightly in front of and a wee bit bordering the left side.
Yeah, the wood looks like it's
pin.
the wood looks like it's way up in the front, so he has to go way right.
He brought it right.
Yes, he did.
10 here gains him another 2 pins on Paul, which should give him a 6-pin lead.
9. After 6, just 5 pins separating the bowlers. Now Paul Berger, is it going to be? It's rocking back and forth.
It's gone.
It is a strike.
That's the ball Paul needed.
Big 8 on the first and an opportunity for 2 marks in a row. The 1 and 2.
Paul has to bring this one in to put an awful lot of pressure on Gary now. First the tables.
And he did. 2 in a row. I'll tell you, the caliber, and Dick, I include you in that. Obviously, you're a 2-time champion, but the caliber of the guys who make their way to this final, I'll tell you, they are great candlepin bowlers.
They're the best in the world, Don.
Yeah, and they come right back. It's
Quite a message ball, I was going to say, from Gary on that last ball.
Oh, rarely see him do that. Rarely.
Very rarely.
I bet it won't rattle him, though.
Well, you never know. When you're down to your last 3 boxes and you're behind a mark now, you know, plus a few pins. He come right back, though.
Yeah.
He answered the
Not
call.
down a mark now.
Looks like we're going to go right down to the final 2 in this string.
Paul Berger. And Paul has 3 marks in a row for one thing, but he has put enormous pressure right now on Gary Carrington.
He sure has.
And the final pin going down is the 4-pin. All right, first bonus ball. That gets him 6, and he has diamond to work on.
Well, Paul made this earlier today.
Oh.
Not quite. Oh, did he want that one?
Well,
9.
he's forced Gary to mark out.
He sure has.
It's been a
an
terrific
excellent 135.
Yeah, a terrific second half of the string, too.
It looked like it was going to be all Gary Carrington in the first 4 boxes. And Gary almost put 2 strikes together.
Gary has an awful tough piece of wood sitting there in front of him. At our angle, we can see the pin, but where he is and the way he throws the ball, that wood's in his way.
It sure is. It looks like a roadblock from where he is.
He has to catch it way up high.
It was a roadblock. That's too bad.
Well, appears Gary needs a double in the end now.
He sure does. Down 25 pins. Around needs 25. That's it. Paul Berger advances. If you remember, last year, Jeff Atkins was the 4th seed, and he went on to win it.
Paul made a very good comeback in the last 4 boxes.
And 6 more. Very disappointed Gary Carrington comes up and is somewhat consoled by Jim Putney and Steve Renaud. And Paul Berger receives a handshake from Don Santiago. They will be next up. Don Santiago facing Steve Renaud right after this. Santiago right now to lead off. He qualified with a 425 and was our 4th seed.
I would imagine Don's very nervous. You know, he's been around the game for a while. But, you know, big competition such as this, you know, I don't know how much experience he's really had. You know, so I would imagine he's got a lot of butterflies right now.
Oh, I would think so. This is his first time in this show, in the final, and he had a big day with his 425, but following it, he had some difficulties.
Right.
He had some difficulty in the first box, too, with a 7. But remember, we just saw Paul start slowly and finish with a bang.
That's right. Yeah, it's getting rid of them first 5, 6 balls. It gets rid of the butterflies.
He got a break there as the 5-pin went down, leaving a triangle over on the right.
He's got to play that wood fairly high, because if he just hits it on the side, he may not carry the 9-pin.
He got it. That helped. That'll help his nerves, I'm sure. Now Steve Renaud.
He hit it dead high, too. You know,
Yes,
you
he hit it
mentioned
right
high.
on
I mean,
top.
he found that soft spot right there.
Yeah. That was where he had to play it.
Here's Steve Renaud. And Steve was in our championship show last year, and there are a lot of folks who think that he's due or overdue.
Yeah, Stevie's a very explosive bowler. He's also a newlywed.
I was just going to say that. July 14th he got married.
Yes.
A million people just went, aw, shucks. You realize that?
He's got a tough shot here.
Yeah, that's about all you could do with that. By the way, Ralph Stewart, our lob line judge and referee, is in his accustomed position right on the lob line. And our alternate referee, assistant referee, I guess we might call him, up and back is Don Riley tonight. He's also a coordinator. And Tim Michelle is our statistician. Steve Renaud.
I bowl with Steve up against the Canadians every year, and he is just unbelievable when he goes up there. Last year he had the highest average for the week.
Very fast, very quick bowler. Not quite. I mentioned Don Riley. Don's mother, Betty, suffered a cardiovascular difficulty recently, but she's doing fine, and as far as we know, is watching the program tonight, and I hope enjoying it too, Betty.
It's a tough one.
Can you throw it too hard? You know, can you be over?
Oh, yeah.
Anxious?
It's very easy to throw it too hard. You know, you just try to get that extra pin to go.
Don Santiago, as you know, working on a spare. This will be the bonus ball.
Just off the head pin.
Yeah, and maybe got more than he thought he was going to get.
Makeable shot. Split the 2 front ones, and maybe he'll carry the 7-pin. 3 to the right should go if he hits the head pin.
Hit it on the wrong side.
Yeah, he hit it outside.
But for
Threw it
the
right in front.
second ball in a row, though, I think he got more out of it than he initially thought with the first one in.
Well, if he wants to throw some pressure on Stevie right now, he should hope to get a big box right here. Maybe get a mark, and that's put a lot of pressure on Stevie.
Steve is sitting behind him, by the way, head down, not watching what happens.
He has a spare lead. Excellent spare lead.
Yeah. All right, just 2 pins to work on right now, and it's the 3.
Yep.
Yeah, 3 and 5.
That wood rolled out from in between, so he's got to hit the shot.
Oh. That's one you've got to make.
Yeah, you have to hit the front one. That Not the big opening for Stevie.
Al Giglio keeping score on the electronic scoreboard, and Keith Williams is keeping score on a board for the folks here at the Pilgrim Lanes in Haverhill, where we've got a great crowd on hand, as we usually do for this. Steve Renaud fires, as he usually does, a bullet.
I'd like to say hi to my mom, who I know is home watching right now.
Bet she wishes you were out there bowling.
Sure she does.
At least she knows where her son is, though.
That's right.
Right.
Stevie hit that shot good. I'm surprised it didn't carry.
Ralph calls it a 7.
There was the
Yep.
second shot was a lob. We couldn't hear it. No wonder, because as I said, there is a big, big crowd here. Yes, a big, big lob is right.
Stevie's good, though. He's liable to come right back with a mark right here.
You called it.
Stevie knows the pressure's on him right now.
Okay, with a bonus ball still to be thrown by Steve Renaud. And it's because of that, which you're watching on the screen right now. The score right now is Santiago 42 and Renaud 33. Okay, Don Santiago. This is the 5th box of their one-string roll-off.
Don's left with a very tough leave here.
I'll say
This-
1, 7, 8, and 10.
This is like almost like a high-low jack with an extra pin. It would come up a little bit. Might help him.
To the point in the match where each shot is lined up a little longer.
Nope. And of course, the pin he had to get is the one he missed.
Don's been off the head pin the last couple of three boxes now.
A lot of pressure, obviously, because for candlepin bowlers, and we're talking about international candlepin bowlers here, as far as this is concerned, this is the Final Four. It's the World Series. It's the Super Bowl for candlepin bowlers.
That's right. It's the best from all Yale. These guys bowled hard to make it to this show, and
That's right. It's only 5 make it. The 5 with the highest 3-string total between one of these programs and the next one. Don Santiago picks up the spare.
Don needed that mark.
Now, Steve Renaud, remember, he had a spare in the 4th, his first. Seven and spare leave.
Stevie seems like he's calmed down a little bit. He's throwing the ball with a lot of accuracy.
His high single, 191, and he missed.
Spoke too soon.
Same as Paul did. Paul missed that. It's a 10. Just one pin. However, he is opposite. A spare by Don Santiago.
Stevie's saying to himself, all he wants to do is match the spare.
Well,
back with
he
a
did a
strike.
little better.
It's a whole new ball game now, going down in the last couple of boxes again.
Boy, he just struck it so perfectly and exploded precisely.
For Don Santiago, a very big fill right now. If he can get that head pin. He did! He got a strike.
He answered the call. He answered the call.
Now he's relaxed. Now the pressure of bowling in the big show is off, and the pressure of just wanting to win the match is where he is, and that's the way he wants to play.
That's right. Just off that head pin again.
Yeah. Just a little bit to the left.
Yeah.
Held it for a fraction too long before releasing it. Because I'm sure he probably was going for a pocket, and he got a pocket this time, and he comes up with a spare.
Very good shot. Don just reversed the pressure.
Well, it was a great ball because as he was leaving, it didn't look like he would get the mark in the box.
So $50 in bonus money also for Don Santiago. For
Stevie's
3 marks
forced
in
to
a row.
make a good shot here.
4 horsemen left side. That's what he's looking at and what he wants to wipe out with this. Oh! He spun right around that 7-pin.
He hit that shot good and solid, too. It should have carried.
A 10. Now he needs a mark.
He has to have one here. Got to match the one that Don's sitting on.
He took a casual glance at the score, saw what you see now.
And he answered the call.
He answered it.
Well, Don has a little bit of a lead.
We are down to the final 2 boxes of a 1-string roll-off, which will determine which of these 2 bowlers will go against Paul Berger.
Now,
Did he open the door?
he left the door wide open for Stevie.
A punch out, half Worcester left, just 2. That's the fill.
It's only a 14-pin lead with Stevie working on a strike, and he looks like he's going to have a bad box here.
It does. Looks like he'll leave 3, I would think. He did. So it is a 7.
Stevie gets 1 mark this next box, and you know it's a brand new ball game. You know, Stevie will be up a pin. Or be a 1-pin difference.
10 going in for Don Santiago.
Very tough lead there.
Oh, it sure is.
Don's got to hit that pin way up on the cap again and hope it carries into the corner. Maybe the ball will hit that other wood to the left.
Like,
boy, he tried.
I'm surprised the 9-pin didn't go. He hit the shot excellent.
He sure tried.
He's
All right,
gonna
it's
finish.
going to be at best a 10 box and a 120. His league average is 123.
Now,
A
now you got to
120.
wonder if that last finish, the last 2 boxes cost him the match.
well, Stevie's got to answer the call now. He needs another mark.
All right, he's at 89 through 8 and 2 bonus balls. And he needs a 121, as you know. First bonus ball. Leaves him a split.
We're going down to the last box. Stevie wants these 3 plus a 10.
Oh, what a
What a
great
try.
try.
What a try.
Oh, what a beautiful try. If that had ever gone, what a roar. For a 10, yes.
Stevie has to have a mark here in the end.
He does need that mark to win. You see the 2 pins separate the 2.
Needs a mark. Oh, it's not going to be easy.
If that wood sticks around for him,
Coming back into the picture, what's he wanted to do?
well, he'd probably want that wood to be a little bit farther to the right.
Yeah. That's what he was signaling. Yeah,
Yeah.
Move over, move over.
He could do this 2 ways. He could take a shot off the ball coming off the wood,
Do
or
you
he could
go all
play
the way into the 7 and get some action that one?
or play the wood way up in
Yeah.
the end and hope it
Yeah.
carries over. It's a
Oh,
tough
what
shot.
a big ball right now. Oh.
It's the match.
Oh! Oh! Don
Tough break, tough
Santiago
break.
will be moving on. Steve Renaud will be...
I probably would have played that shot there myself, way up top.
I'm amazed how much a game of inches it is. In the previous box, it came with an inches of taking out the 7. That time, it came with an inches of marking.
So Don Santiago against Paul Berger coming up right after this. Between Don Santiago and Paul Berger, and because Paul Berger had the higher of the two scores in the opening matches, he will be in the second position, or the position we ordinarily reserve for the defending champion.
Well, I didn't notice Paul go down the other end and throw a couple before this, so he must feel that he's loose enough already.
He did, yeah, he did.
Did he?
Yeah,
Oh,
very few toward the end of the match, but yeah.
I didn't notice.
John Bellotti, the excellent candlepin bowler, or bowling, I should say, not just candlepin bowling, writer for the Boston Globe, is sitting near us and called to my attention something which I should have noticed immediately, and that is that Steve Renaud lost by 2, and he had 3 pins that he lost on a lob, which would have given him the win.
This is true. Don's still just missing that head pin.
It's still there, along with the 9 and 10.
Hits the head pin here, it should carry. Wood looks pretty good to take out the 9 and 10.
Just like you drew it, Doctor.
I'll say. All right, Paul Berger.
That's the bracket in front of you. Berger and Carrington, Santiago and Renaud started in the quarterfinals. Now the semifinals, Berger and Santiago, and here's Paul Berger.
This is the match to find out who will go against top seed Jim Putney in a 2-string final.
High-low jack type.
And I got to tell you, Don, that when I was in Toronto with the Red Sox the past couple of days, Joe Morgan was curious as to whether I thought Putney would or would not win tonight. So he's a devoted follower of you and us at Candlepin Bowling.
I'm not surprised.
From what I understand, Jim Rice likes candlepin bowling also.
That's right.
But I just can't see Jim and Joe bowling.
No. Paul Berger with a triangle to work on the right side. Oh,
Good
did
try.
not get it. He thought he would.
The triangle's a fairly tough shot. You got to split them just right. Get them too full, they don't go.
It's a 10. Our crew tonight, Kim Duvall, George Manning, Ellen Serwin, Leroy McLaren, Bill Freewall, Joe Sukar, Steve Bailey, Tony Coleman, Alan Pratt. And I had a lot of fun seeing folks that I don't see too often because I don't go in the studio very often anymore. Don Santiago with a big 9, Phil, and the 7-pin alone.
You mentioned the name Leroy McLaren. He would just as soon be bowling tonight as running on the crew, you know.
How true.
As you notice, when Don hits the head pin, he has a very explosive ball.
And he makes it 2 in a row.
You know, it's funny, though. You get a hunch during an evening, and he has bowled well enough to get to where he is now, and you got to believe the more consistent bowling will come out of him as the evening progresses.
Oh, yeah, the butterflies are definitely gone now, and now that he's got a couple of marks right up on the beginning, he's going to get even more relaxed, you know. Tough break here, but most he can do is, you know, try to get 3 and 3, get a 10 out of the box. Don't want to leave any pins standing.
When you do wind up with a spread eagle, you have to say to yourself that I did what I was supposed to do. I hit the head pin, and then just work on getting the 2 wings, right?
That's
not that,
it.
Not that.
If you try to hit the spread eagle, you won't get it. You only get it when you don't want it.
True.
That,
Not going to work taking them out one at a time. You know?
no, 6 box is a tough box.
All right, Paul Berger right now looking for his first mark. He's only had 2 boxes so far in this.
Paul has some help in there now for this 3-pinner. He splits the 2. It should go right over. He almost stole it.
He can't believe it. That's twice now. Paul's league average 128. I told you Don Santiago's is 123. And a 9 for Paul, who finds himself down by 15 pins after 3. But, of course, he's opposite a 6-box here.
Well, it looked like he pushed that ball a little bit.
You get at a point, though, when, you know, you realize where you are in the match, and you don't want to let it get away, so you have a tendency to push.
Oh,
And then you come up with a big ball.
He needed that shot.
Once again, we'll take a check on the scoreboard as you look at the replay of a super spare that was made by Paul Berger. He has a bonus ball to roll when we come back, and the score with pins down right now is Santiago 48 and Berger 37. Santiago on the line. Let's see how he responds after 2 spares and then a 6-box.
I found when I was in this competition that sitting out waiting for the commercial gives you an awful lot of time to think.
Well, is that good or bad?
Yeah, really. See what Jim Putney's doing with commercial time? He's over there off by himself, just as he would go to the bullpen, if you will. Yep. Warming up.
Yes, Don Santiago.
Yeah, Jim wants to start breaking out a little bit of a sweat right now.
With the exception of that 6-box, he would have had 4 in a row.
Just missed the head pin.
Yeah.
To the left. He's got to go for the cluster of 4, splitting the 1-3. I'd take the chance to just get 1 pin. I think I'd leave the wood alone.
Well, all right. Paul Berger got, in a sense, the only thing he could hope for after the spare, that is a small fill and an open box. Five is his fill, and yes,
Got him. Excellent shot.
the 4-7 went down, as you'll see in the replay. Watch now as the dancing piece of wood comes across and gets it. And he has 7 on the fill on the next one.
Paul's getting a lot of action on the quarter pin now.
One, 2, but not 4.
A little full of that hit.
After 6, only 2 pins separating our bowlers. 71-69, and Don Santiago in the lead.
Third match in a row going to the last 4 boxes has been 1-2 pins.
Fifth seed, Don Santiago, who's surprised by defeating Steve Renaud.
And for him, this is he didn't get a chance to break. Whether that is or is not an advantage we could get into, but this is his 2nd consecutive string of bowling.
Myself, I would rather do it that way. You know, you've already worked up your sweat, you haven't started to dry off, and you know, you're still loose. Your muscles are still limber. Sit down too long, you stiffen up. Just like running track.
I wouldn't know that.
It's a 9. We've mentioned the crew and the statistician and the officials and so forth, and the man who is putting together and keeping together this live show, of course, is our producer-director, Phil Rubin. Speaking of sweating.
You're right.
Phil never sweats.
Now,
not a very good leave.
Don here has to try to get a 10 out of this. You know, go 2-1 and
Nope.
he keeps getting 9s and 8s.
And
Every ball Paul throws, he can gain pins with a 10.
that hurt him. So a 9 and an 8, which is not what he needed. He's at 88 after 8. And Paul Berger right now in the completed boxes down by 2, but with an excellent opportunity right now to take the lead.
It's that front one fairly full. It should take out the 10. Caught it a little bit thin. He had to hit it pretty much right on top.
Is that something that's natural, Dick, or is it something that you were... And what I'm talking about is the ability to stand up there and determine how you have to hit a certain shot to make it go. Is it a gift, or is it a combination of a gift and the practice?
It's a lot of practice. It's a lot of watching other good bowlers bowl and watch how they make some shots. And then you learn by your mistakes of playing shots wrong. Eventually, you know, when you've been bowling for 30 years, you learn the shots after a while.
Like you did when you won the $10,000 2 years ago and 3 years ago.
$10 here gives us an even game here.
And he did.
Got it.
Okay, going into the final 2 boxes. They are tied.
Well, myself, I'd rather be sitting in Paul's seat right now, waiting to see what Don's going to do.
You see 8s across the board with 2 boxes left. Ignore what you've seen and concentrate on what's coming.
Oh, big ball for Don Santiago.
That pin won't go away, will it?
From here, it looks like the wood is up against the pin. He should be able to just catch the side of the wood, and it should go. Looks like it's covered.
He got it. Big pressure now on Paul. The winner goes on to challenge Jim Putney. The winner is guaranteed $5,000 with this particular match, and $2,500 to the runner-up. Big fill. Even if he just gets a 10 here, he had a good fill.
And if he gets a 10 here, he's going to force Paul to get a real big mark. You know, spare 9's 10. You know, if he gets a 10 here, is what Paul's going to need. Very capable of doing it. Got it.
Oh, what a spare. What a spare for Don Santiago. And what a time in the match for it.
That could be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Boy, I guess so.
He put that baby right where he wanted it.
Then adds 7 more.
Paul's got to match him, mark for mark.
A 123, and Paul needs 2 marks, as you have already indicated, and has to get at least 16.
He hit his average right on the nose. Yep. 123.
So close to a strike, but Paul has himself the position for the spare. Oh, no! Unbelievable.
I do not believe that didn't
No! I can't believe it either.
Phil Rubin, you don't have that on tape, do you? I mean, that was amazing.
Have you got that one, Phil? Okay, now Paul, final box. That is it, and
watch it again. This was the turning point of it, you know, right at the end.
One piece of wood went one way, one went the other, and the pin stayed up.
And the ball went, you know, vertical to the pin up.
Just amazing. And in a surprise, Don Santiago, the 5th seed, just as Jeff Atkins did last year, moved up through 1, through 2, and now goes into the final. He'll be challenging Jim Putney, our top seed, in a 2-string final match after this. This is the 2-string final, and here is our top seed, Jim Putney of Holliston. If you're wondering why he is leading off, it's a 2-string, and so he will lead off in the first, and he will roll second in the final string. just as though we picked up one of our regular matches in the middle string. Spare lead right off the bat.
Jimmy looks pretty calm out there. He's got to sit back and watch everybody fight it out.
And he starts with a spare. League average 128. High single 200, high triple 465.
Meanwhile, Don Santiago has been bowling all night almost now, huh?
Oh.
4 strings in a row. Here's the fill for Jim Putney, and he gets a spread eagle. Boy, he had 13 big weeks.
Oh, he sure did.
Just rolling along, and those 400s kept coming.
Even a couple years ago, when Jim come on, when I was on, he had over a 400. He had a 423 against me.
You racked up plenty of those 400s. A 10. Jim Putney is father of 2 and is employed as a painting and wallpaper contractor. And Don Santiago is single again, and he is the father of 1, employed by the Botello Lumber Company. He also has a high single of 200 and a high triple of 464, an average of 123. And if you think this match didn't make this announcer excited, why, he already indicated that he was the 5th seed. He wasn't. He was the 4th seed. Paul Berger was the 5th seed. That's for all of you folks out there who were saying, he made a mistake.
Don't do that, do they, Don?
And he wasn't going to acknowledge it. That's what you thought, didn't you? Okay. Don Santiago, as you see, high single 200.
Just missed that headpin to the left again.
Yeah, and that's where he misses it, to the left.
He's got a shot here, though. He's got to hit the headpin to the right-hand side. Hope the ball carries into the wood.
He made it.
Much like that.
Pretty even game after 2.
Nice shot and opportunity to see the replay, to see how they do it. Jim Putney. As soon as he released that, he knew he wasn't going to hit the head pin.
He flipped it right just as he released it.
Almost came back to make it.
Good comeback after throwing a bad first ball.
Boy, I tell you, I love this game. I'll tell you, and I appreciate the skill that's involved in it because I don't have it. But I can appreciate what you guys do.
You can double that for me, Don.
Oh, man. Those skinny little pins, that small ball, 60 feet away. Just amazing what can be done.
Well, it's a little bit in the way, but if he catches it to the right-hand side,
Great.
the ball should ricochet right in.
Nice drop, though, after being as off the head pin as he was.
All right.
Ball carrying right in.
Now Don Santiago. On his spare. Oh, big
Nice
Phil.
ball. Nice ball.
Big 9. He was all over it. 2 marks in a row for Don Santiago.
When he hits the headpin, he's got a real explosive ball. Every now and then he misses to the left.
That time he was on it, another 9. Don was a rookie, I guess, this year on your pro tour. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes. I believe he had a very good year, too.
Yes,
on
he
the
did.
Pro Tour.
Yeah. For another, yes, he's all over that one. And he has 3 marks in a row once again, and we're going to check on it, as we always do after 4 boxes, with the exception of the last string. So, in pins already down, it is Santiago 58 and Putney 44. Leading off in the first of these 2 strings. As just seen, Don Santiago put 3 strikes in a row together.
Jimmy's got to go down the corner there. That wood, he's got to almost hit it on the stripe. Hopefully it hits that second wood across the alley. He'll take the 2 in the corner out.
That was it.
That was an excellent shot.
And the beauty is for Jimmy, too, unlike the first bowlers we saw earlier tonight who were bowling 1-string roll-offs, he has the benefit of a 2-string total here.
That's right.
So, you know, he can be a patient bowler and still play his game.
Well, in the 13 weeks, I'll tell you, he was very patient. He never lost his cool.
That's how they answer the call.
Yep.
That's how they answer the call. A commercial, he got to sit and think a minute and come right back.
With 3 consecutive marks.
Mm-hmm. Now, Don Santiago. Boy, he got some action that time, didn't he?
The only way to make this shot really is to catch the 5 pin, way to the right, and hope it carries over to the 7.
But when you're in that narrow alley, you're running the risk of missing the 5 pin altogether, aren't you?
That's true. Caught it.
Whoa,
Or you can hit it.
But the only way you can make that shot.
Well, you can just see how narrow a corridor it is. But you have to be aggressive if you want to be a champion.
Is Don Santiago surprising some people tonight?
I guess he is. He's surprising me right now.
Boy, I'll tell you, he is making shots.
Actually, both bowlers have surprised me coming right out of their chute like this.
He hit the foot-foul line with the ball just as he was delivering it. That threw it off.
Now, that relieves a little bit of pressure from Jimmy.
Yep. Don Santiago picked up in his first match $50 in bonus money and added another 100 here. He's got $150 in bonus money. But, of course, the important thing right now is that he has at least $5,000 and has a shot at the biggie, the $10,000. Jim Putney right now. Is he going to get this pin? The crowd here is certainly trying to help him.
The pin moved but didn't go over.
Myself, I would hit that wood right on the cap on the left-hand side there. He's got double wood there, and it might just send that 2-pin right over. Sent it over. Sent it over, but not the right direction.
A 10. Five-pin lead right now for Don Santiago, and Jim Putney has put only a 10 at the moment on the board.
Don, I was asked by us pro bowlers to challenge Channel 5 to a charity softball game.
Yes, well, yes.
You know, gee,
well, let's see. They might need a first base coach.
Well, you know what they say, Don? Charity begins at home, so let's go home.
Ooh, nice
What a
shot.
Nice 10.
We've seen just how sophisticated the skill levels of these bowlers are tonight. Both guys with similar shots in different situations, obviously, but nonetheless similar shots.
Now Don Santiago.
Oh, he's getting some action from the back. He's got to hit that pin pretty solid. Otherwise, the pin's only going to go straight to the left, and the ball's going to go straight back. He just caught it, and it just went straight to the left, right in front.
Yeah, you already have softball experience, so you challenged WCGY.
Yes, yes, we had a very good turnout and a lot of fun.
Jim Putney pitched, didn't he?
Yes, he did. I believe he was pitching a no-hitter for 4 innings, 4 or 5 innings there.
See, you can pitch a softball and...
Or I mean a
Okay.
shutout, not a no-hitter, but a shutout, rather. Get some action from the back again.
Boy, I guess so.
It's nice when you're getting good scores, and if you do get a bad ball out there, you're getting some action. Leaves you with a lead.
He was all over that one. Two more boxes, but of course, a final string to follow. Six.
Just got to shoot the triangle and pretend the 7's not there. It's hard to do. But
Well, I'm sure he tried to ignore it, but did a good job of taking out the triangle. Because we see that missed so often, where you get 1 or 2.
back at Jimmy's head right now, he's saying, I got to have 1 mark on the end here. Just keep it close. Doesn't want Don to get too far ahead of him.
Yeah, he's at that point where through boxes scored. He was already down 5 pins.
He might get some. No, didn't fall. Thought the 5 pin was going to fall and give him some back action.
One of the few times that he missed the head pin.
Very makeable shot, though. It's got that wood in the back that could possibly roll over and take out the 7 if he splits them.
It did.
That's not the way he wanted to finish this first string. Especially knowing that Don Santiago has a spare in the 8th.
Very respectable first string.
Sure is, 129. He really had it going for a while until he ran into the last 4 boxes. They're not bad boxes, you understand, but they're not what he wanted.
No, he didn't have a whole lot to shoot at.
If you've noticed, Don has gotten stronger.
He gets 7 more.
As the evening has gone on.
Well, I'm sure he's gotten his confidence.
He's already knocked down 122 from 120, 123, and now...
That's a big miss.
Yeah.
It's his second one this string. Missed too many against Jimmy, and he's going to come back.
Well, that's the point. This is a 2-string cumulative total.
That's right.
So when you have an opportunity to take advantage of spare leaves and whatnot, you better.
Tough leave.
Sure is, no wood.
Got to shoot the 3 pins on the right-hand side, and hope that 3 pin comes over, takes the 5 and the 7 out.
not quite enough. However, he will finish with a fine 140 or 41. $140. So the first of the two final strings goes to Don Santiago, 140 to 129. Folks, this is it. And Don Santiago will lead off in this final string. He leads by 11 in the match.
Eleven pins can be made up very easily with one big mark and the opponent having a bad box. This could be an awful tough 10. That wood's not sitting that pretty there. It's up. It's way up at the end of the plate.
Got it. A lot of wood.
Yeah, I was going to say, left a lot of forest down there.
That piece of wood over there on the right rolls back into play there. Then again, the piece of wood over by the 7-pin doesn't look that bad either. It's got an awful lot of wood. I think I'd shoot the one right in the middle, though, right on the stripe. Have that one go take out the 10, and the ball hit the rest of the wood. Caught it a little bit high. He was a little high in that stripe. That's where I would have played it.
Pair of 10. All right, Jim Putney. There are a load of some of our very best candlepin bowlers who are here in person tonight because I guess you guys, because you travel all around on the Pro Tour and because you go to Canada and so forth, you really root for each other.
Yes, we do. You know, we're all friends on and off the alleys. I mean, we play ball together. You know, we'll all get together, do any type of charity that people ask us, and we have a good time.
For a spare, yeah. In these two boxes, Jim Putney very, very capable of taking the lead. Not that way.
Just got to keep his head and get a 10. Just match up the 10s here, and he gained 5 pins to a 6-pin match, which is still only 1 mark.
Now he just got to concentrate on getting the 10. Most bowlers seem to, if they get the spread eagle, seem to have a favorite side that they want to go to. Is that true?
If you look at just at the spread eagle, yeah. If you're looking like at a 3 and 2, it doesn't matter which side, really.
So he, in a sense, loses 1, so it's a 7-pin lead right now in the fact that he got a 9 rather than a 10. This is the final string. This is the one that determines which one of these men gets the $10,000 first prize in this, the True Value Championship. It's our 15th live championship show. The first 7 were just 2-men affairs. And then in 1983, we went to the 5.
Nice shot.
Big hit for Don Santiago.
Nice shot.
Don Santiago's been bowling with us most of this evening. And I just continually amazed that his arm has gotten as loose as it has and is still as accurate as it is.
Well, you have to understand that most of our competition is all 10 strings. So, you know, he's bowling 4 strings tonight. So he's really still just loosening up.
True. 8 is the fill. Let's see if he can make it 2 in a row. 1 and 3, yes.
He's putting an awful lot of pressure on Jimmy right now. You know.
Well, you talk about a baseball pitcher who tires after throwing 100 pitches, and granted, it's a far different velocity, but nonetheless, you're talking about a man that's rolled through already, what, 120 balls already, and he's into this one.
You can shoot this shot either inside or out. Myself, I like going where most of the pins are.
Oh, baby. Got one of the two to topple, but it didn't hit the one that he wanted.
Got a lot of wood in front.
10. Down by 15, and opposite, another spare. This being, of course, the final string, I would say that after this box, depending upon what Jim Putney does, he's got to start maybe getting a little nervous.
I don't know if necessarily is nervous. Could be thinking a whole lot more.
No wood to help. 4 horsemen right side, and the tough shot, of course, because he has the 8 pin.
He hit that shot good. It's a funny part about this game. Hit it one day and it goes, the next day it doesn't.
He was in another world during those 13 weeks, it seems.
No, he's that type of bowler to, you know, answer the call when he has to. This match is far from being over yet.
So take a look at the scores, and remember, this is the final string. And you look at the man who so far has led the charmed night, Don Santiago.
Already has knocked off Steve Renaud and Paul Berger.
Now he'll try the 4 horsemen.
His ball breaks in, you know, to that 1-3 very well to carry this.
2 full on the head pin. He didn't get the bonus money, but the bonus money was not what he's thinking about.
Now he just wants to win.
An 8. Maybe a little open to the door, just a teeny bit.
Just a teeny bit. 22 pins, still a lot of pins.
Uh-huh. Oh, baby. The door just closed again for a
10
while.
more like that, are yeah.
Every time Don gets a mark, he forces Jimmy to get 2.
And time simply is running out on Jimmy. It hasn't gone away yet, but it's running out.
6 boxes to go.
Jimmy's got a shot here.
Right edge.
Right at the 8 pin, catch the wood. Ball should take the 8. Wood should take the 7. Got a little bit too far to the left there, but
You got a break.
The wood took them both, but he'll take them both.
that's right. It all looks the same on the paper.
Uh-huh. They're all line drives in the box score, right?
Got it.
Seven.
Tough leave here.
It is. That 10 pin alone over on the right. And none of that wood in favorable position, unless he can get something to bang off that sidewall.
That's the only thing he can do is just try to bang the wood and hope something happens off the wall. Unbelievably, he didn't take the 7 pin out.
Yeah, he got the 2 most improbable pins in that setup.
That's right. And obviously was concentrating on getting the 10 pin and expecting that the 7 was going to go. Now we are down to 4 boxes.
Wow.
Not
Still
only
in
is he down by 13, excuse me, but he's down by 13 plus what Don Santiago gets on the next 2.
Wow.
All right, first ball gets him 4.
That's not what Don wanted to see here. Don would have liked to have gotten a nice spare leave and got a good fill on the strike.
See what he does for the spread eagle. Chopped out 2. Now he has to go for the 3 on the left.
And he filled his strike with a 6.
Right. Actually, with the 7 box, you can really consider that 6 fill as a 3 fill.
That's right. And what you have through where we are right now is an interesting finish setup.
Right. Plenty of room. This is not an easy spare here. He has made this tonight, I believe. I believe he made it the first match.
Too full that time. I assume he was going for the left side. Try to have the ball diverted over to get to 7, but I don't know. All right, he has opened the door for Jim Putney.
Left 2 frames open. How improbable is that?
Well, this is where Jimmy has to do it. You leave the door wide open, you got to try to get inside.
Too full on the head pin.
Jimmy throws a type of ball that can kick that right over. That wood will also help him. Help it. If he hits it outside, it will help it come off the wall, maybe across.
2-4 to get 6-10. Nope.
I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for inviting me back this year.
We'd like to thank you for being with us.
We're always glad to have you, Dick. And it's nice to have the perspective of somebody who's been there, somebody who's won a couple of times, knows what the pressure is, and knows how to win.
It's a nice shot. Just take a look at it again. He just kisses the outside and cleans out the frame for a 10.
Now down to 3 boxes.
That's what Jimmy needed. Jimmy needed that one in a big way. 16, we got a 14-pin lead. We're only talking one more mark. If Don doesn't get a mark here, the door's wide open for Jimmy.
Don is bowling in his final 2 boxes. And it's wiggling.
Boy, he almost nailed it right there. But he's got a great opportunity.
There are 2 pins in front. Does that make it change at all?
No, this shot should go. Just hit it full, right in the middle.
This is not like the one that Paul had, where they were sort of at 2 different angles, and one went right, one went left.
Now, we're sitting pretty flat like that. It usually goes straight back. Now,
5.
still leaves the door wide open.
And Jimmy Putney is sitting down, fingertips touching each other. He will see what Don Santiago will finish with. He knows what he has to meet.
This could be a very big box.
Yes,
He
sir.
gets a bad box here. He almost cancels out his mark. If it's under 20 pins with Jimmy getting up working on a strike. Nice out. Very good out.
Big. That's an important one. Needs a 128 to tie.
18-pin difference here.
Well within his right arm. This will set the tempo. This ball right here.
Big
I think that has closed the door. All he needed was a spare with an 8 fill, a double strike. That's like getting 2 more spares on the end.
It's a big play from a big play guy.
That's
double
right.
strike. Okay, that gives him a fill of 18 on the first of the strikes, the one in the 8th box.
I think he's won, Don, hasn't he?
Yes, he's already won.
Yeah. I think it's over.
Yes, it is.
That does it.
I'd like to say hi to my IBEW brothers and sisters out there.
You got a lot of friends.
I do. Just a popular guy, I guess.
Done like a champion.
Doesn't matter.
Coming from behind in the
Very
final
good.
2 boxes.
He comes through in the
A
end.
143 to 117 and a total of 272 to 257 and $10,000 to Jim Putney. We'll be right back. The finish, huh? Hi. Ralph Sevenour from True Value is here to present a trophy and also $10,000.
Putney, congratulations on your performance today, which is outstanding. Members of True Value of New England would like to present this to you and give you a big congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
That's all the time we've got, Jimmy.
Bye by me.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody. What a finish by this guy, huh?